I'll do a little video on making a river cane storage container or storage vial, or you've even heard them called medicine vials. The Cherokee and Caddo and Choctaw, a lot of different tribes in the southern area, that they used river cane quite a bit, and they used it for a lot of things. They used it for arrows and baskets, quivers, spears. I mean, you name it, they used river cane. It was part of their life. But what I'm going to show is how to make a real quick little vial. It's some of my river cane that I've got stored. It's dried. This smaller river cane, a lot of that I use for making arrows with, and of course making quivers also. Got some that's a little larger in diameter. It makes some pretty good storage vials, especially some of these larger ones. They work real good. For this video, we're gonna make kind of a mid-range size vial. We use kind of a medium-sized piece of cane, a little bit smaller. And what we use for this one is you'll get one piece of cane, and then you get another piece that's smaller that'll fit in the end, and you can use it as the stopper. The larger pieces like this, I mean, it's pretty good size. In between, you can actually whittle a wooden plug and make a good tight fit with the wooden plug. We'll also, of course, this one doesn't have a node on it. You can see all the way through it. Right here would be a node, and what we'll want to do is cut it roughly right in here. This would be our length that we'll use as our vial, and then we'll put a stopper on the end, on this end. That way this end will be already waterproof. It makes a nice dry container. Vials, you can use them for a lot of things. You can store matches in them even. Keep your matches dry. I use them for putting my needles in, needles that I've just made. Keeps you from breaking those, keeps you from losing them. Paints, dry paints, red ochre, yellow ochre, different paints you can keep in here, and that way you can mix them with hide glue when you're ready. Makes it real easy. You make 2 of them, salt and pepper shakers. You can store salt in it and pepper, and keep that with you when you're out camping. But just multiple different uses that these little vials, little containers work for. So we'll go ahead and start working. I'm going to go ahead and use a piece of flint to score it and break it with. You can use about anything. The thing with the river cane is it is pretty sturdy. I don't, as you've seen in some of my previous videos, I use a bandsaw and grinder a lot. Had rotator cuff surgery a couple of years ago, and my shoulder's not quite up to power to doing a lot of grinding and a lot of cutting, but we'll go ahead and cut this with the flint. And we get it scored all the way around. Now just gonna give it and break it both ways. And there's our vial. And we'll go ahead and we're gonna sand it. We're gonna work this little ridge off just to make it a little easier. And then we're gonna cut a piece that'll work as our stopper. Alright, there we got it. Sanded pretty good. Like I said, this does not have to be perfect at all. In fact, your river cane may even have a little twist. You can see the end is even, it's a little flattened this way as you twist it. You can see it's kind of oblong. It doesn't matter. When you build your stopper, you just sand it more on these 2 sides so that it'll fit in there. So what we'll do is we're going to find another piece of river cane now that'll fit in here. When you cut it, there's two sides the smaller river cane, this is the side that has where the leaf was grown up. You see the curve on that? This is the end that you're going to want to cut to go in. Of course, this one's a little bit small. It fits in too easy. But we're going to find another piece that'll fit of this size. Also, we'll go ahead and wrap this end with some sinew just to keep it from splitting out. If you get a piece that's too big, you want the sinew around it to keep it from splitting out. So anyway, another thing is make sure you cut this piece a little bit big, because you can always sand it to get it, because you want a good tight, a good snug fit when you work those together. Alright, here's a piece that diameter wise it looks like that's going to be pretty close. So we'll go ahead and cut it off. We'll cut it off right about in here, about an inch below this node. We'll cut it off here and see how it fits. Okay, as you can see, that won't. It starts to go in just a little bit, but it's a little snug. So we can start to sand that now and start to work it in. This is where I was telling you about that, where the branch comes off and it's dried off. We'll just kind of clean that up. Now what we'll do is come up here about another 1.1/8 1.25 inches and then cut it off here. We're going to do a little fitting now. Just basically you just keep sanding your end piece, your cap, until it fits into the end. So we'll just start sanding, and then we'll keep checking. Alright, there we've got a real snug fit. And you can see I've sanded it so it's kind of oval. But at this point, I can drive it in there a good 3/4 inch, which that gives me a real snug fit. So what we're going to do now is we'll take this our little piece of flint, and we're gonna serrade or rough up the end right in through here. Oh, say about 3/8 inch or so. That way, when we put the sinew on here, it'll latch on real nice and tight. So we'll go ahead and rough that up. Okay, there we've got it roughed up real good. Now what I like to do, I like to put the end cap back in it before I put the sinew in, or sinew around it. So now I'll go ahead and we'll wrap it sinew, and we'll let that dry, and then we'll go from there. Alright, we got a little sinew. We'll go ahead and chew that up and start wrapping. Get my sinew unwrapped here. There we go. And be careful when you put that on there. It'll want to potentially jump off the end, and just kind of hold it back from the end. You don't want it to roll over. It's a pretty good piece of sinew. I've probably got more than I need there, but yeah, it'll dry. It'll dry nice and clear, so that'll be fine. Okay, we'll let that dry, and then we'll go from there. Alright, the sinew is nice and dry. Hopefully that'll focus. And so now what we're going to do, just to finish it up, we'll go ahead and put a hole in the top. That way you can, if you want to, you can hang it by the top, and we'll also put a hole just in the bottom. You can hang something off the bottom if you want to. Just, it's optional. It's not required. You can fix these up however you want to. You can dye them different berries. You can color them with different berries. Makes it look nice. You can engrave on them. Just take a piece of flint, and you see in the entry picture, did kind of a spiral type design on a couple of them. All kinds of different things you can do. For this one, I've got a little snake skin, a little snake that I picked up off the road a couple years ago, and dried it, and pretty small, so I haven't had a need for it, but it looked pretty good. We'll take a little piece of this off and use a little hide glue. We'll glue it on, and then we'll put a little sinew on both sides to hold it in place. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. There we go. Now that sinew, it'll dry pretty clear. It'll look like this here. There, we got a little accent, a little snake skin on there. And after this dries, after the sinew dries real good, the only thing I'll do, I'll rub some oil on it to let that soak in a little bit and seal. And that's done. We've got a finished storage. Of course, they got a real good seal on the plug. So that's a finished little storage vial. Thanks for watching.